Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 300 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. Arsenal's injury woes deepened after a hard-fought 2-1 FA Cup win over Mansfield Town on March 7th, with Leandro Trossard and Riccardo Calafiori both forced off with fresh niggles that have left Mikel Arteta with a proper headache ahead of the crunch Champions League tie against Bayer Leverkusen. Trossard hobbled off before halftime clutching his left hip in what looked like a precautionary sub, while Calafiori pulled up with a right hamstring issue later on, getting swapped for debutant Jadon Dixon. Arteta was blunt post-match, saying both had little niggles and weren't comfortable to continue, blaming the dodgy pitch conditions for ramping up the risk, adding to an already stretched squad where William Saliba, ankle, different one from earlier, Martin Ødegaard, nagging knee, and Ben White, minor knock, remain sidelined, not to mention longer-term absentee Merino post-foot surgery. The Gunners still sit pretty at the top of the Premier League with a decent cushion, but this mounting injury list plus the likes of Declan Rice, Gabriel, and Martin Zubimendi carrying issues or rested is really testing squad depth amid the relentless fixture pile-up across all comps. While the quadruple dream flickers on thanks to strong league form and cup progress, these fresh blows could prove the biggest test of Arsenal's mettle in the coming weeks, with Arteta desperate to manage loads and avoid more gremlins derailing what could be a truly memorable season. Come on, you Gunners! Mikel Arteta speaks about Arsenal's quadruple dream still burning bright Indiana March. Arsenal are absolutely flying at the moment, topping the Premier League table and still very much in the hunt across all four major competitions. The lads under Mikel Arteta are chasing what could be a historic quadruple Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, and Carabao Cup, something no English side has ever pulled off. The buzz around North London is massive right now, especially after some cracking results that have kept the dream alive deep into March. One of the biggest stories doing the rounds is the emergence of 16-year-old wonder kid Max Dowman, who became the youngest starter in the FA Cup post-war era during Arsenal's 2-1 win over Mansfield Town. Alongside Marley Salmon, he put in a proper shift on a ropey pitch, showing bags of vision and composure beyond his years. Arteta even likened him to Lionel Messi, which sent the papers and social media into meltdown. Everyone's calling him the next big thing from the academy. The Gunners booked their spot in the FA Cup quarter-finals thanks to goals from Noni Madueke and Ebereki Eze in that tight affair against Mansfield. Next up, it's Southampton away at St Mary's, and the draws got fans and pundits properly excited. It's another step towards keeping the quadruple chase on track, even with the fixture pile-up testing the squad's depth. There's been a right old ding-dong about Arsenal's style of play too, particularly after the 1-0 grind against Brighton. Their gaffer Fabian Hürzeler went full rant, calling it anti-football with all the time-wasting and set-piece reliance. But Wayne Rooney came out swinging in defense of Arteta, saying the criticism was bang out of order and that set-pieces are just smart, modern football. It's been all over. Mikel Arteta addressed the big one coming up, the Champions League round of 16 first leg against Bayer Leverkusen. Well, we are very excited to play the next round. We have earned the right to be in a strong position, what we've done in the group stage, and that's it. Now we need to start to analyze them and find ways to be better than them to try and go through the tie, he said. On the injury front, there's hope William Saliba could return after his ankle issue, separate from previous knocks, though rotation remains a real headache with the relentless schedule. The Arsenal faithful went absolutely mental when Manchester City dropped points recently, with videos of wild celebrations in the stands and online going properly viral. Sitting pretty with a decent gap at the top, the title race feels like it's tilting their way, and the belief around the place is sky high. All in all, Arsenal are in the form of their lives this season, blending exciting young talent with a solid core and clever tactics from Arteta. From the Sun to football. London, the red tops and broadsheets can't get enough. Every match is headline news. With Leverkusen looming in Europe and big domestic tests ahead, the quadruple remains firmly on the cards. The manager and players are keeping their feet on the ground, but the excitement among supporters across the country is off the charts. Arsenal injury crisis deepens ahead of Leverkusen showdown. Arsenal are heading into a massive Champions League last 16 first leg against Bayer Leverkusen on Wednesday evening. But Mikel Arteta's got a right headache on his hands with up to 9 players battling injury issues or fitness niggles. The Gunners come off the back of a gritty 2-1 FA Cup win at Mansfield Town, where Arteta made heavy rotations, including resting Declan Rice, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Martin Zubimendi to give them a breather. But it came at a cost with fresh muscular problems for Leandro Trossard and Riccardo Calafiori. Trossard hobbled off before halftime clutching his left hip, looking proper gutted as he was subbed, while Calafiori pulled up with a right hamstring later on after trying to head clear. Arteta was straight after the match, admitting both had little niggles and weren't comfortable carrying on, especially on that ropey pitch at Field Mill. William Saliba's ankle knock, picked up against Chelsea and a different one from earlier in the season, has kept him out of the last 2 games, including Brighton and Mansfield, though there's cautious hope he might shake it off in time for Germany. Martin Ødegaard remains sidelined with his nagging knee problem, with no proper return in sight yet. Norway boss Ståle Solbakken reckons he might not be fully firing until late March or April, which is a blow to the captain's creativity in such a big European tie. Ben White's minor knock from after the Wigan FA Cup romp is still lingering, ruling him out of recent fixtures with no clear comeback date, while long-term absentee Merino continues his rehab following foot surgery back in February after that nasty one against Manchester United. Arteta's already flagged that the likes of Rice, Gabriel, and Zubimendi were carrying issues that forced their rest at Mansfield, and with Trossard and Calafiori now added to the list, the squad depth is being stretched to the absolute limit amid this relentless run of League, Cup, and European games. Wholesale changes are expected for Leverkusen to manage the load, with a predicted back 4 potentially featuring Saliba and Gabriel if the Frenchman makes it, Jurrien Timber and Piero Hincapié at fullback, a midfield pivot of Rice and Zubimendi, Ebereki Eze or Kai Havertz pushing on, Bukayo Saka a must-pick on the right after his milestone goal, Gabriel Martinelli possibly getting the nod on the left, and Victor Gyökeres leading the line in his rich European vein. All in all, while Arsenal sit pretty at the top of the Premier League and the quadruple dream is still flickering brightly, these mounting injury gremlins could be the real test of the Gunners' mettle over the coming weeks. Arteta will be desperate for a few boosts in Tuesday's presser to keep the season on track for something truly special. Come on, you Gunners! Thanks for watching Arsenal Time. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Continue following the Gunners' journey with us, and see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners!